Hey there, if you're watching this video, I'm just really excited to share this with you. We've got a little bit of a discussion here about the 6,825% quarter, and a couple of the slides in here will not make a ton of sense to you for a couple of reasons. This is a real quarterly report. It's 2016, it's July 25th today that I'm recording this, and this is a report that earlier this month we did for a client after a little over their first month of management, but they asked us to come present what we'd done for this campaign for them to the rest of their team for that actual financial quarter. So it worked well that we actually started running traffic for them a couple weeks before the beginning of that quarter. So the data ended on a nice even day. It is actually 14 weeks, not exactly 12, but you get the gist of it. And the reason, there's a couple slides in here that are given away by this title, but don't worry about that. You'll see what we were able to do and a little bit more about what's happened. Now, if you're watching this version of the video, I just want you to understand I'm going to send you some more stuff. And there's things in here that are redacted, just like a CIA document. I've put black marks over stuff that is specific to the client, just so you don't know who they are. I imagine you'd want me to do the same with your data. That said, there's other things that I'll be sharing with you that we'll be reporting. And if I pause, forgive me, I'm just going to take a drink of water and we'll get going. Now, this is actually what we shared with them in their meeting. There's a couple things that I took out completely because they're not relevant to you. I want to respect your time, but we did say this: talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. And I like Michael Jordan as much as the next person, and I think it's a great quote. The game of entrepreneurship and growing businesses is a team sport. It's the same with marketing. So we find that teamwork and intelligence really does win the war. And a lot of people come to us after they've won a couple battles. And what I mean by that is, hey, we got this thing to work. We got it so that, I'm able to spend $100 or $200 a day on advertising, and that's all I'm able to spend, but I'm able to do that profitably, and now I want to go to the next level, right? That's the difference between the solo act and the team act with a lot of intelligence. So I'm going to share a couple numbers with you in this presentation, and we present numbers a lot, and I found this to be a helpful format. So the numbers are 68, 82, and 1.4. Now, if you were a member of this team, I would have been asking you to guess and would do a little bit of fun interaction, but for you, I'm just going to go right ahead and get to it. So as you can see, the black marks on the right are redacting what's for eyes only of the company that this was made for. But in week one of paid ads management, the client netted $132.05 from paid traffic, which, hey, I'll take it. It's a little over $500 a month in net profit, and that's a car payment. Nothing to be sad about there. But you're not going to build a business on that either. By week 14 of paid ads management, the client netted $9,144.56. And that's a week over week increase of 68 times, 6,825%. Now, the chart you see on the left, I'll actually explain it in just a second. These are all generated from our system, and the name of the product, the app that we've built that helps us to do this, is called Cerebro. You can think of it as kind of like a Jarvis for marketing. It's the central brain of all the different tools and technologies we use to gather, manage the data, manage creative, and to more effectively build ads and do everything that we do. So number two, the second number, was the number 82, and that's for $82,465.06, which is how much was spent for the client. And in this case, I just want to point out on the left side here, each one of these rows is a week. Sorry, it's a little granular. That's kind of a blown up chart that was tiny. But you can see what was being spent each week. The one in orange is the current week that was being presented, so the week wasn't complete yet. But $82,000 of traffic managed over a quarter. Nothing to laugh about, but this was a big increase for this client. They went from spending less than $100 a day to spending thousands of dollars a day, and did so profitably the entire time, as you'll see. And this slide is about the last number, 1.4, and I guess you could guess what it is. Current weekly net profit growth rate is 23.84%. And we're predicting a smoothly maintainable week-over-week growth rate of 6.94%. And the reason we did that is, hey, it was growing really fast. We knew a couple other things about the offer, the market, the campaign, the product was being sold, which I guess is something that I should mention. This is a client selling a physical product. So this is for one offer. This client is currently on our scaled program, but when they started, they were on our grow program, which I will explain a little more on another video. And they have several other products and offers and things. So their business was a lot more than just this, what we were doing for them, but we're doing more and more now. As you might see, they want us to touch everything possible in their company related to marketing because of the numbers and data we're able to generate and the decisions we're able to make as a result of those. So our current growth rate was just a little bit out of hand. It wasn't likely sustainable for the entire quarter. What we said was, if we're able to maintain this growth rate, at the end of Q3, we'll be at $27,226.12 in weekly net profit, which would put the client at $1.4 million in annual net profit run rate. So they had some things going on. They're doing pretty well before this, and at the end of this quarter, the goal was to get to $1 million run rate by the end of the year. So in about half the time, we're 1.4 times their goal. So 1.4 equals $1.45 million. So some more numbers. For the past 6 weeks, we broke the past week's sales record, which means that every week was bigger than the week before it. Cerebro, again, the software that we've built and are continually updating and building to manage all this, predicts in $11,173.87 in net profit by the end of the week number 28, which is the week of the 4th of July through the 10th. Cerebro predicts $13K in net profit by the end of week 29. So this is just a couple predictions for them, not including a product launch that's happening right now, which is why this is a little bit of a quick video. Since we started managing traffic, it has produced $35,000 in net profit. So that's after they paid us, by the way. Cerebro estimates that without paid traffic management, the client would only have netted $2,700 from previously existing efforts. So that's what that means. Now, as you can see, a lot of that kind of came towards the end. It scaled up rather quickly, and a lot of that has to do with our algorithm, how it manages the traffic and the numbers. In the month of June alone, the client did $23,987.68 in net profit and $127K in total sales, averaging a return on ad spend of 199.72%. Return on ad spend for us just means the number of dollars that came back in revenue from the dollars spent on advertising. So if I spend $1 on advertising and get $2 in revenue, that's a 200% return on ad spend. So here's some cool charts that were generated. These are some of the types of things that our clients get on a regular basis from us in the portal inside of Cerebro and also in Slack. We interact a lot with our clients in Slack. So you can see $66,000 in ad spend, $220K in total sales. Their cost of goods was $100,000. Again, this is a real physical product business. This is actually an outdoor product and something that has a near endless market and just getting started. $117K in revenue. Now with this client, they'd like to see the number revenue as the number after sales minus gross or cost of goods. I understand from an accounting perspective. Some of you watching this might say, well, hey, that's not revenue. Yeah, I know. It's just how they'd like to see it. That number is really gross profit. I get it. The number that we talk about is gross profit with all of our clients is just the total number of dollars you take in, whether you call that sales or revenue, minus the immediate costs needed to bring in those dollars. So we subtract out ad spend and we subtract out cost of goods with real physical product businesses. Now, with some of the businesses that are so high margin, like software and supplements, we often just don't worry about the gross profit margin. And then here's our commission. They paid us so far $15,101.50 because it's our 30% of the gross profit. That's how we get paid. And then the net profit to them, to the client, was $35K. So return on ad spend average is 175%. That's $1 in, equaling $1.75 out. Which, as you can see, our whole goal right now is to put in as many dollars into this machine as we possibly can. So here's another chart. I really like this chart because it's a cool looking chart. It shows you a couple of things. So this is week by week along the bottom, and then dollars on the left and percentages on the right for the things that are percentages. It's a little bit of a lot of information. As you can see, the top band, and my mouse doesn't work in this view. I'll just blow this up for you. Alright, so hopefully you can see this mouse. So the thing that's important to notice on this chart, and this is something we do use to look at campaigns from a longer range perspective from time to time, this band here is the dark single line is the return on ad spend percentage for that week. So it's giving kind of a reference point as to where they are. Each one of these represents, you can see the legend here, so net profit is a total take home, return on ad spend is what we, the return is return on ad spend is ad spend, so what was spent by the client on ads. What you can see actually is not only are these going up and to the right, but they're also getting thicker, right? And the things like our commission are getting smaller and the ad spend is getting slightly smaller. So that's what you want, right? You want the total revenue and the gross profit to be bigger and more. They're higher percentages. So it's getting better. If you compare this line here to this line here, the ratios are better, which is kind of what this chart's showing you. This is the same chart but smoothed out. So it's running off of a 7 or 10 day moving average, just to give you a little bit clearer, smoother picture. Okay, so this is actually a week over week finance detail chart, and you can see this is the base that this client pays. So they were at the beginning of this, they're on the grow plan, and they've obviously surpassed it, and I'll explain more what that means in a later video or on a call with you. But yeah, we give them the week number, so we use broadcast week, so it's the 13th week of the year, starting on the 22nd of March, ending on the 27th. In that week, this was the first week when we took over. This is just where they were at. They're actually going to be negative when they paid us. So that week, just because we hadn't done anything yet, and we added in their commission, and it took them a couple weeks to kind of recover, to be honest. So trying not to, this is some warts and all, trying to show you some of the failings of some of the campaigns. There's been a couple little tiny negative moments in here in the beginning, just getting started, but really, I mean, I think what you should be caring about is these numbers on the right and toward the bottom. So every week we give the client, this is one of many charts on a report we give the clients, a report that shows total sales. So how much money did you bring in? How much was that after you paid your cost of goods, which is here, and your ad spend, which comes down to this number, which is gross profit, which is the main number we care about on a weekly basis. And we take our commissions, our percentages, our performance off of this number. This is your return on ad spend, and then this is just everything that you owe us, and then the last column here is what you get to keep after all of that. So that's what this chart is. Let me just keep this way, just to be able to point a little bit. So this chart is something more of what we look at internally on a regular basis. Certainly a client's welcome to look at something like this, but it's not terribly useful for them. This is a moving averages chart, and so this is just us, blue's the last 1 day, orange is the last 7, green is the last 30. So it gives you an idea that obviously, because this chart's up and to the right, this client is growing, and these charts give you an idea just how fast, right? It basically means that our week over week growth rate is currently bigger than our daily growth rate, which is a good thing. It's smooth. This is some predictive modeling. This shows some of what we're expecting for that client. out in the future, and as you can see, their days are kind of all over the place, which maybe make a lot more sense from this chart. So this is the chart about the day of the week. So of all their net profits, what percentages of their net profit came in on which days of the week over the entire life of the campaign, which can be kind of important because what we inevitably see is people don't look at their ad campaigns the same time of day every day of the week. You tend to kind of look at it once or twice a week, or maybe you check all the time and then you're looking so close that everything's kind of blurry and you can't quite tell what's happening, or you don't look often enough. And regardless, this is another great reason to have somebody helping you manage your traffic, because we have a system that looks at it. We have a really, really refined process for how we make decisions based on the data, so that our humanity doesn't get in the way and mess things up. But needless to say, it's pretty common that people, Monday you're dealing with email, Tuesday you're starting to work on some projects, Wednesday, maybe you've got a meeting or two, and by Thursday then you're looking at your ad campaign. And if you're always looking at your ad campaigns on Thursdays or on Fridays or on Mondays, you're going to start to have a little bit of a skewed view of things. Now, the days of the week that I've been talking about have nothing to do with what this chart means. This chart is saying on all the Mondays in the entire time they took on this ad campaign, the 12% of the profit came in on Mondays, and 22% of the profit came in on Sundays. So this is just showing where are we most profitable, which day of the week is most profitable. All the days are profitable. This is just to give people an idea of where some of the volume is. These charts may be a bit hard to see. Let me blow them up. This was just some mobile browser charts, so showing a couple things about, hey, where are clicks coming from, where are sales, those kinds of things. So this chart's kind of a skip over for the purposes of this presentation. But the next thing I want to show you are these capacity charts. Now this particular client is dealing with a real physical product and the need to forecast supply and demand, and the ability to know, hey, how many of these do we have to sell, and if we sell more than this number, when will we be able to ship them, and all those kinds of issues. And they're dealing with a third party that's getting the product for them. So a lot of things going on here, and what I want you to highlight is, normally you probably wouldn't think of manufacturing analysis as a part of marketing, but it really, really is, because whether or not we can sell a product, and whether or not the shopping cart says back ordered, and when, and our decisions and our algorithms have to take into account the upper limit of how much we can sell. And I realize that sounds like a great problem to you right now, and I'm a lot more worried about it than you are. If we're going to have a conversation after you watch this video, it's very, very likely that you're much, much, much less worried about this than I am. But I'm really worried about it, because I know what's going to happen when we turn on ads and when we really start to manage them by the numbers. So this is a simple chart. This just shows you the number of units per day in an average line. This was just helpful for this client. This is a forecast indicator, so everything on the right that you see that's kind of shaded is estimating the number of units sold. Were all the algorithms and the rules that Cerebro, whatever Cerebro wants to do, we're allowed to do them. That's how many units each week was forecasted. So by the end of so for example, this week of the 4th, where you see the highlight start, it says 11:20. That's the week that ends on that day. So yeah, this is just a different view of that with revenue. This is an example of the dashboard we made to give to our client, the advertiser, to their product people, to the people that were actually making this product and shipping it to their customers. So this was really, really, really helpful. There's a couple numbers across the top. So the number across the top is the number of units sold the day before, and some dollars associated with it. I honestly forget which number this is, if it's the dollars to the person making the product, or if it's the revenue. I think it's a cost number this is a number for the actual producer of the product in this case. And then you've got 845, which is the last 7, 3602, which is the last 30. So again, these aren't your numbers, so they're probably not super interesting to you. The point is, this is a chart we use to help somebody managing a different part of the business that controls how much money we can make with the advertising, to give them an idea of what they need to forecast for. So let me talk you through a couple of ways that we were able to do this. So the biggest thing is tracking. So we started tracking everything, and every one of the more than 672,735 clicks that were purchased in this time period. So Cerebro's algorithms run to increase and decrease spend intelligently and smoothly over ranges of time to optimize the best campaign. So the biggest thing that's different about us is not only do we have more than a decade of, I have more than a decade of direct response experience managing ads across a whole ton of different ad platforms, and then the team collectively has probably 25, 30 years of experience. We're a small team, and lots of the guys here are pretty young, but they're smart. And we've found that the way you choose to make decisions is really, really important. So let me give you an example. What we used to do, and what most of you probably do if you've ever run any of your own ad campaigns, is you go, oh, I think this one's working, let's turn it up. And let's turn it up usually means maybe it's spending $50 or $100 a day, and now you decide that ad should spend $500 or $1,000. Or, oh no, it's not working, let's kill it. And oftentimes what that means is you launched it on Wednesday. Thursday's historically your worst day ever. It does bad that day, but you don't know that Wednesday and Thursday work that way. And so then by Friday, you're freaking out because you think that it's a bad ad, when really, if you'd let it run 2 more days, it would have been super profitable by Sunday. So and you just cut it, you kill it. So that kind of management of ads is fine as you're starting out, and I understand why you do it. I have some of the same instincts oftentimes, like, hey, this is working, let's triple the ad spend, those kinds of things. But as you know, in trading and in life, the smoother and better we can make more consistent decisions, typically the more consistently things run. The biggest reason that this is super important is it manages the algorithms that we can't see. So our algorithm's smart enough to understand that the other algorithm, the algorithm that the ad network uses to determine which ad gets which placement and how much do you pay per click and all that kind of stuff, like Facebook or Google's algorithms, those are affected by that erratic behavior on the part of you, the advertiser. They care about that. It's a factor. So what we found is turning things up and down is really, really important to both the type of performance you're able to get as a result of how the ad network's algorithm works, but it's also important for your business. Again, if you're selling a physical product, I need to consistently control how many units you've got to ship. So Cerebro, our marketing app, our technology that we've built to do all this, that we run for you, takes all the numbers in. It takes all your cost data, all your click data, all your revenue data, puts it all into one big spreadsheet basically, and we have a whole bunch of different machine learning and business intelligence apps that we build and use or buy to use to analyze this, and it just basically every day spits out for us a report of what we should do in turning things up and down. And it gives us the ability to manage things much more intelligently and smoothly and quickly. Okay, so the first thing we did is we have to match every dollar in cost to every dollar in revenue, and we're able to know exactly which click generated which results and see all the marketing performance metrics as well. It's something we often forget to talk about, but it's really, really, really important. So here's the ads and the targeting. We launched 6 campaigns, 51 ad plus targeting variations. There's currently 3 campaigns and 10 ad variations running, averaging well over 200% return on ad spend. So as you can see, we test a lot of stuff, but we're able to know really intelligently what's working to what degree quicker because of the way we track. And when you do that, you just turn up what works and you turn down what doesn't. The challenging part is getting the stats in a way that you don't make bad decisions. So learning how to interpret the data and make good decisions is really, really where our expertise comes into place. So again, that company, big limitation was actual product. So here's the second thing we did. We did conversion optimization. What I mean by that is just tweaks to the pages that the ad was hitting. Now, I have a belief, you might not normally think that your media buyer will care about your landing pages. I care a lot. I believe that landing pages are an extension of the ad. It's all the ad. The experience that the consumer goes through from the minute that they see an ad to the minute that they buy is the acquisition experience. And so we manage that entire experience. So version number 1, the existing version the client had, they were making money with it. They were doing okay, but they weren't buying Ferraris or anything. They had a click-to-sale rate of 0.35%. And basically what that means is out of about 1,000 clicks, you'd get 3 buyers. It cost them $28.44 in ad spend to get 1 sale. And they had a net profit of $10.48 per sale. Now version 2 was a click-to-sale rate of 0.59%. So almost double, 69% improvement on the control. But look at what it did to the cost per sale. Dramatic decrease in the cost per sale. Dropped from $28.44 in cost per sale to $16.79. And that's $17.73 in net profit. Just to give you an idea, at 100 sales per day, that's an extra $700 a day, which I'm not going to do the math on camera here. We tested 17 different funnel flow and design variations, and currently 5 are running. We have many more ideas to implement, but our current click-to-sale rate is 0.8%. Sorry. Cost per sale is down to $12.44 and net profit of $20.97. So an effective doubling of net profit per sale from conversion rate optimization. Okay, so this slide deck was made for a report to a company, to a client, where it was their numbers. It's probably a lot more relevant to them, but I just wanted to show you some of the kind of stuff that we do for our clients. I hope this is helpful. If you're watching this, I'm hoping to have a conversation with you, or somebody from our team to have a conversation with you about your business and what the results could look like for you in 90 days. And I think there's some more information. Yeah, no, there's not. I cut the rest because they were slides for their meeting. It was for discussion amongst the group of people there that was going to talk. But what I want you to talk about with me, and what I want you to think about if you want to go forward with, having us just take a look at your numbers, at your marketing, and seeing if there's something that we could do to help you, is I want to ask this question of you, and I want you to really, really think about it, because it's very, very powerful. Now, you may recognize it. I learned this question from Dan Sullivan, but it's incredibly powerful. I use it on myself, and I use it with people to have productive conversations. So my question to you is a little bit differently worded than this, but it's what has to happen in the next 90 days for you to be happy personally and professionally with your progress? I really, really want to know. So if I get on the phone with you, I would love to start with answering this question. Where are you now? Where do you need to be in 90 days or a year or 3 years for you to be happy with your progress? Okay. 90 days is a little bit of a short time frame, but it was designed for a quarterly meeting. We're planning the next quarter. That's why that's in here the way it is. I'm really looking forward to talking to you. Somewhere near or around this video on the page you're watching it on, there should be a survey or kind of a form you can fill out, answer some questions. It'll help us understand your business a little bit better. It'll give me an idea what you're doing now, where you might like to be, and how I can help you. And after you fill that out, you'll be taken to a link to my calendar where you can schedule an appointment, and we can just talk through some of the numbers. And with your permission, with your email that I've got already, we'll probably send you a couple more case studies and reports and things like that, ideas of what's possible, maybe a couple other clients based on what you send us. So I really hope I get to talk to you. I hope this has been eye-opening for you. I understand there's a lot more questions that you might have, and that's why I would really love it if you'd fill out the form below this video, answer a couple quick questions that'll make it easier for me and you to have a more productive conversation. Pick a time on the calendar, and let's have a very meaningful, productive conversation about how your business could grow very, very rapidly, and what we could potentially do for you. So I hope you have a great day. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I enjoyed making it for you. And if you'll excuse me, I'm going to get back to running this launch. Thanks again.